Hey, white friends, welcome back to the Believing Wives YouTube channel. I'm Deborah Cheek, founder of Believing Wives, and I'm so glad that you've joined us. We are growing through a series this month entitled, What Did God Say About Marriage? In an effort to prioritize His Word and His way over popular culture, opinions, and even our own feelings. We've already discussed that God says that marriage is honorable based on Hebrews 13:4, and last week we discussed that one purpose of marriage is companionship. We looked at Genesis 2:18, in which God says it's not good for man to be alone. I encourage you to go back and check out both of those teachings because there were some really good nuggets. This week, I want to focus on another of God's expectations for marriage. Let's look at Genesis 2:25. It says, "And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed." After God said that man shouldn't be alone, after he created Eve from Adam's rib, and after he said they were one flesh, we are told the conditions surrounding their union. They are naked and unashamed. I'm sure we often think of naked in terms of nudity, but it's more than that. They were fully seen and fully known by their spouse. They were open and exposed to each other. They were living in complete and pure intimate knowledge of each other, and there was nothing to be ashamed of for either of them. They had no secrets, nothing hidden between the two of them. If we're going to have successful marriages, we have to establish this same type of relationship, one in which there are no secrets, nothing hidden between us, so that we can know each other fully. I think there's a distinction that we must make as we talk about nothing being hidden in marriage, and that is privacy versus secrecy. Privacy in marriage involves your personal boundaries. For example, my diary or my journal is private. I don't want my thoughts and emotions or even my prayers to be read by others. You have the right to privacy in marriage. Everything doesn't have to be a shared experience. There's nothing wrong with private time or even time alone. Secrecy, however, has more to do with actively and intentionally hiding things. Typically, secrecy involves dishonesty, and it can be hurtful. Little secrets can have huge impact. As it relates to marriage, I'm speaking of secrets that we keep from each other, knowing that the other spouse has a right to know. Though you have a right to secrecy, you have to be prepared for the consequences of it and consider how it will damage relationships when the secret is revealed. The Bible says in Luke 12:2, "There's nothing covered that will not be revealed, nor hidden that will not be known." I'll do a more complete teaching on privacy versus secrecy in another series, but a general rule would be unless you're planning a surprise party, don't keep secrets. Bigger than privacy or secrecy, being naked and unashamed is about intimacy. It's about seeing your spouse completely, flaws, idiosyncrasies and all, and being able to relate to each other without fear or shame. Our marriages should be safe places. We shouldn't be afraid to be honest or vulnerable. We shouldn't fear judgment or ridicule from our spouse. This is the place where we can be free from shame without the makeup, the polished performance, or the smooth speech. We can show up in our bonnets and pajamas and still be loved and respected as much as if we were dressed up for the red carpet. And our husbands can show up that way as well. Here's the thing. God designed our marriages to be places of intimacy, and the enemy will do everything in his power to work against that. He will cause us to build walls, keep secrets, and drift further apart at every opportunity he gets. So we have to actively work against that. I'm encouraging you to embrace this verse for your marriage. Do your part to establish a union in which you can be naked and unashamed, and make it safe for your spouse to do that as well. Next week, we're continuing our series on what God says about marriage. If you haven't seen the previous teachings, go back and check them out. Make sure you turn your notifications on. I believe that these teachings are going to add great value to your life. Until next time, remember, changed wives, change lives.